catch a break, bro. This is
Dude.
it's serious. We cannot catch a break in the housing market. Every time all the headlines last week were the Fed's going to cut the rates. Everyone's like, "All right, finally, finally." And then I look in the paper and it's 7% today. It went like the little line went like doo 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 straight up like.
Yep. Yep.
And
So
it's
so
like the thing is like the better the economy is, the higher the rates. Like it's like I don't see a scenario in which this doesn't feel better, man. Or
So
feel
let me tell you what's
worse.
going on. I'll give you the whole 9 yards, right? It's all
All right, let's
politics.
go.
They're reporting the job reports. They're saying jobs are great. We're creating new jobs, and they're saying unemployment's down. Everything looks good. And part of that is quite honestly, is the current administration wants to show a lot of positive numbers. The feds are afraid that if we see a lot of positive input on income and on jobs and on creation, on stability, that the inflation rate's not going to go down. So they want to make sure that inflation has come down significantly to their 2% mark. And in so doing, they're holding off, afraid to make the mistake. But what's the mistake, Brian? The mistake is that they're putting a chokehold on the economy. And you and I both know that. We see it every day. We see it in the economy. I don't know about you, but you go to the grocery store and a grocery basket full of groceries, it's not $60 anymore. It's like $300, right? So inflation is going up.
I just got back from IHOP.
Oh,
And
geez.
you know, IHOP used to be one of those places where I know it wasn't the Denny's $2.99, but it was like
It was something close. Yeah.
$4.99, $6.99 for
Grand slam.
one single waffle. No eggs, no bacon, no toast, no fruity topping,
Sure.
whatever. $10 and like 50 cents for just a waffle. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
What was in that waffle, Brian?
And I
I
know
want to know.
you
Yeah.
can't base your economy on waffles. We don't live in a waffle economy. But it's like an indication that things are not cheaper. I don't know what to say, man. This feels like we're in some kind of a not a nightmare, but we're in like this uncomfortable situation that I don't see us getting out of it, because I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm having a hard time seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you have to change your perspective, which we're going to do at the end. But as far as like par for the course, the issue is if the economy gets better, people start making more money, they have more money in their pocket, they're going to raise rates to slow down inflation. And if they cut interest rates, it's because the economy is struggling and or because it's going to cause house prices to go up. Like either way, house prices seem to be going up.
So and that's a very important point to make. Look, here's the problem. Inventory is not growing. It's slammed, Brian. I mean, look, over the weekend I had 5 clients make 5 offers. Only one got approved because of the competitiveness, because of the marketplace, because multiple contracts, because above market offers
All
which
day
is
long, man.
yeah.
Like, and that's the other thing is, people are looking at this like, oh, well, interest rates are high, house prices are high, I'm not paying that. It's like, talk about changing your perspective. Like, go ahead and jump in the ring
Right.
and try to buy something and see what it's like. And you'll find out that you're going to be kicked in your teeth.
Well, but I think of the other side of the coin. So let's change that perspective around. You ready? Yes, interest rates have gone up. Yes, it is more difficult to buy a home in today's marketplace, but get it now while you can, because rates are going to
I
come
don't
down.
disagree.
And when things happen,
I
it's
don't know
going to
about that rates
be.
coming down thing.
I think it's
But
going
let
to
me
happen,
ask you
Brian.
this
Yeah.
question: like, realistically, paint a scenario in which not the housing market per se, but like buying a home becomes less painful.
It's a good perspective. I mean, buying a house becomes less painful when 3 things occur. You ready? Number 1, people forget about the tax advantages. It's huge. Number 2,
No. Those are always there. I'm talking about from today till tomorrow. Like, tell me a scenario in which house prices get. Here's what I'm saying. Let's say you're like, okay, you know what? When interest rates go down, house pricing will be better. What will realistically happen when interest rates, if just interest rates go down, house prices will probably go up, and the competition will probably increase. Like it will become back to 2021 trying to buy a house with 5 offers. That's not necessarily better. Okay. Scenario number 2 is everything stays the same and you make a lot more money. It's just not going to happen. There's nothing out there that says that's going to happen. Theoretically, that's the only way this gets a lot easier, but it's not likely going to happen. Scenario number 3, house prices come down. They would have to come down a lot. And if house prices come down a lot, like there's something seriously wrong somewhere because why have house prices come down? The only thing that makes them go down is this lack of demand.
Or the economy takes a shitter. Let's just call it what it is.
Tell me, man.
It
Like,
is what it is. Yeah.
Tell me, like, paint me a picture. Give me hope. Show me how we're gonna, like, without changing whatever, you're gonna like see this get better for a home buyer. Help me understand this.
So here's the key. I mean, to be honest with you, Brian, it's tough. It's hard. I don't care. It is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge buying home. I'm not going to lie to you. It is going to be rough. But
all right, so
at
then
the end,
change
at the end of the day, yes, correct. At the end of the day, you have to look at the long term.
Nothing is going to actually get better. You just have to change the way you think about whether or not what better is. That's the only way out of this.
Yep.
Is you have to change the way you look at the situation, and then okay, I can do that.
And that's the key, Brian. We have to, our perspective has to be, look, you know what? Buying a home, honestly, is a privilege. I'm going to take it from a different perspective.
Let's go.
Because all the people that I work with, especially the younger people, I got one guy, Jake. The guy is a waiter at a freaking restaurant. Okay. He worked 2 years to buy a home. He settled on his home last week, bought a house, Cobb Island, $210,000. The guy is freaking amazing. And what he said was, everybody has the unique perspective of, click, it's going to happen. I'm going to buy the house tomorrow. And you and I both know, no, it doesn't happen that way. We're going to make sure the credit's in place, right? We're going to save our money. We're going to get our job situation in place. But at the end of the day, if they take all those steps, Brian, they're going to be such stronger financially long-term. And you know, when people own homes, they're 4 times as wealthy as they do if they just are renters. I mean, just plain and simple.
Okay, on average.
It's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Number 1, it's a privilege to buy a house. We can make that argument. All right. Now, what's number 2? What else?
Number 2, it's a financial long-term investment. Okay, and people don't see that. They don't understand. At the end of the day, there's going to be this huge pot of gold.
Yeah.
Huh? There's going to be a pot of gold.
Do.
And then number 3, what people don't understand is, and this is insane. You ready for this one?
Let's go. What's the big one, Tim?
The long-term perspective is it keeps families in place. Because how many times? So when you think about it, you know, it's a privilege. It's an investment, massive investment. Okay. And then number 3, it's that family structure. And what people don't understand is when you have to move your kid from school to school to school, they change their friends to friends to friends. They don't have any structure in place. You and I both know what happens, right? Things get haywire. Things get out of control. People get involved in the wrong things. So in the long term, buying a home is a challenge. I get it. There's no question about it. And it is a struggle. I get it. But if you have the right perspective in place, you can accomplish anything you believe in, man. And you know what I believe. You believe in that. It's been 40 years, dude. Look.
Somebody cue up the national anthem. Go, Tim. 40 years from now, you will be looking back on this day and this video, and you'll be remembering what Uncle Tim said. It is a privilege to buy a home in America. It's a long-term investment, and it keeps families together.
Hey.
And in November, you're going to vote for Tim Murphy.
You know what?
Because that is a man who can
lead
America.
That, let's do it, Brian. Hey, so as far as interest rates are going to come down, they're just not going to come down until midsummer. Midsummer is when the election starts to fire up. Everybody's going to get insane. It's going to be crazy like it always happens, especially before a presidential election. Rates are going to come down. Yes, the economy is going to turn around. Things are going to get better from an interest rate standpoint, but not from a house price standpoint. It's still going to be a challenge. So if you're serious about doing something, you got to plan ahead. That's all.
My turn, Tim. My turn.
Do it up, man.
All right. So you're going to have to zoom. You're going to have to zoom out a little farther to take on mine. All right. I would say, let's think about it like this.
Okay.
Whatever your belief system is, human beings have been on Earth either 7,000 years or whatever, 300 million years. whatever, let's just even take this the smaller version, 7,000 years. Out of the 7,000 years, if you put that on a ruler, okay, the amount of time that people have lived with hot water, air conditioning, heat, insulation, protection from the wind and the rain, how would that even, that wouldn't even show up as a 16th of an inch.
Now, here's the worst part, Brian. I don't have air conditioning in my house. You know that. I don't want to go there. I haven't had air conditioning in 24 years,
There's no
dude.
excuse for that.
No, it's an
That's another
extra. I don't need
no,
it.
no, Tim. There's no reason for somebody who is financially as sound as you are to live hot. There's no reason.
And that's the
for
key.
it.
The
There's no
key
excuse
is
for that.
it's all here, Brian.
You're going
And
to
you
be
are-
dead.
if-
We're all going to be dead soon, Tim, and I'm going to be dead in an air-conditioned house when I die.
And they're
I
going
will
to
be
find you. They
comfortable.
say he's well preserved. He's in an air conditioned
Yes,
house, right?
yeah.
Hey, my wife didn't turn the heat on until Thanksgiving. Okay, that's my Thanksgiving present that she gives me every
Again,
year.
there's
Let's
no-
turn
there's
the
no
heat on.
excuse for that, Tim. God forbid there's wood in your yard. You could burn some wood.
I
There's
got a
no reason to be
fireplace.
cool.
I can
It's
I get the fireplace in.
2024. We live in America. You have enough money. There's no reason for you to be cold. But getting back to my point here,
Right.
in America, even in take the ruler back out in your mind and say, of all the people that exist on the earth today, 7 billion, 8 billion, whatever it is, how
Right.
many of them can work hard and get some skills together, save some money, and then buy a house that has air conditioning and hot water and heat and electric?
But they got plumbing, Brian. They got
And
plumbing.
Like more than ever, but like it's probably 1% or less. Like
Correct.
it's crazy. So the big picture is like if you take all the human beings that ever existed, you put
Right.
them in a room, and then you're going to be up on the microphone, and you're like, "Well, how do you feel about buying a house?" You're like, "It's terrible. It's not fair. It's too much money. Rates are too high." They're all going to pick up the rock and they're going to like throw it at your face, and they're going to pummel you. Like, stop crying. It's harder. You don't have it as good. We don't have it as good as people did 5 years ago. That's facts. Okay.
You know, that's I
But
get
in
it.
every
That's true.
generation or every place on earth, there's some people luckier than others. They got lucky. You got to look at it that way. This is more back to not even the 90s. I'm going to say like the 80s and 70s, where it was a struggle to buy a house. When you bought one, it was a small one, and you couldn't afford it when you bought it. It was like a struggle. Everything was a struggle. We're just back there, and we're not
Right.
leaving that anytime soon. So back to Tim's point, or maybe that was my original point. You have to change your perspective.
Yep.
And you have to say, listen, it is what it is. The one thing that we just are both going to caution you, if you're watching this video still, is do not assume it's going to get better. Do not assume that the market is going to crash. Don't assume that, oh, well, when the market crashes, I'll buy a house when all the foreclosures finally get here. I had, when the economy collapses and all my Bitcoin, whatever, buy your castle. It's probably not going to happen. So it is what it is. Like whatever you see today will probably be about the same tomorrow, maybe a little worse, maybe a tiny bit better, but not by much. So like change your perspective to feel like this is what owning a home looks like for now and in the near future. And let's make it work, baby.
Let's make America great again.
Let's
Come on,
make
Brian.
America great again, Tim.
Yes,
Let's
brother.
go. And
All right, man.
November, vote for Tim Murphy.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna be a writing candidate. What can I tell you? I appreciate that, Brian.
All
All
right.
right, guys.
All
Talk to you, man. Later.